The ground shook under Jihan's feet as another massive drill bit into the planet's surface. His hands gripped the controls of his mining exosuit, but they would not stop shaking. 3 years ago, his hands had been steady enough to defuse bombs. Now he could barely hold a cup of water without spilling it. The exosuit was the only thing keeping him alive on this deadly world. Without it, the crushing gravity would flatten him like a bug in seconds. The air outside would burn his lungs. The radiation would cook him from the inside. But the suit was also his prison. Every day he wore it for 16 hours, digging deeper into the mines for the alien masters who had taken Earth. Jihan wiped sweat from his forehead and looked around the mine shaft. Dozens of other humans worked beside him, all wearing the same bulky gray suits. Their faces were tired and empty. Most had been here longer than him. Some had been here since the invasion 30 years ago. The aliens called themselves the Dominion. They were tall, with silver skin and black eyes that never seemed to blink. They spoke in clicking sounds that hurt human ears. When they first came to Earth, they said they needed workers for their mining colonies. They said humans were perfect for the job because humans could adapt to anything. They were right about that. Humans could adapt, but the aliens did not understand what that really meant. A sharp whistle echoed through the mine shaft. Work time was over. Jihan turned off his drill and began the long walk back to the surface. His legs felt heavy even with the suit helping him move. The trembling in his hands was getting worse each day. Above ground, the human settlement looked like a prison camp. Gray buildings in straight rows, high walls topped with energy barriers, guard towers where alien soldiers watched everything. The humans lived in small rooms with metal walls and no windows. They ate the same tasteless food every day. They worked, they slept, they worked again. Jihan walked to his small room and sat on his narrow bed. He pulled off his mining helmet and stared at his shaking hands. The trembling was not just in his fingers now. It was moving up his arms. Sometimes his whole body would shake for no reason. The other miners said it was the sickness. Everyone got it after working in the deep mines for too long. The aliens said it was normal. They said human bodies were weak and would break down eventually. When someone got too sick to work, they disappeared. No one talked about where they went, but Jihan was an engineer. He had built bombs and bridges and spacecraft before the invasion. He knew his body better than the aliens did. The trembling was not sickness. It was something else, something the aliens did not understand. A soft knock came at his door. Jihan tensed. The aliens never knocked. Human visitors were rare and dangerous. If the guards saw people talking together, they might think it was trouble. "Come in," Jihan said quietly. The door opened, and a woman stepped inside. She was small but moved like a soldier. Her dark hair was cut short and her eyes were sharp and alert. Jihan had seen her before in the mines, but they had never spoken. "My name is Hana," she said, closing the door behind her. "I need to talk to you." "About what?" Jihan asked. Hana sat down on the floor across from him. She looked at his trembling hands and nodded like she expected to see them shake. "About getting out of here," she said. Jihan almost laughed. "Getting out? This is an alien world. Even if we could escape the camp, where would we go? There are no ships. No way home." "Who says we want to go home?" Hana asked. "Earth is gone. The aliens stripped it bare and moved on to other worlds. But this place has something they want, something valuable. The crystals in the deep mines," Jihan said. "Everyone knows that. The aliens use them for their ships and weapons. Yes, but they need us to get them. Humans are the only ones who can work in the deep mines without dying. The aliens tried using their own people and machines. Nothing else works." Jihan looked at her carefully. "You sound like you have a plan." Hana smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "I have something better than a plan. I have information. Do you know why your hands shake? The alien doctors say it is sickness from the mining work." "The alien doctors are lying," Hana said. "The trembling is not sickness. It is change. The crystals we mine are changing us, making us different, stronger." Jihan stared at her. "That is impossible, is it? Think about it. You have been working in the mines for 3 years. The gravity should have crushed your bones by now. The radiation should have killed you, but you are still alive. Still working. Your body is adapting to things that should be impossible." Jihan looked at his hands again. The trembling seemed different now. Not weak, but active, like energy moving through his fingers. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "I want you to help me steal something," Hana said. "The aliens have a new kind of exosuit in their command center. Not like the mining suits. Something much better. If we can get it, we can study it. Learn how it works. Maybe even make our own. That sounds like suicide. Maybe, Hana agreed. But I would rather die fighting than die digging in their mines. Jihan thought about his life before the invasion. He had built things that helped people, fixed problems, made the world better. Now he spent his days digging holes for aliens who saw humans as nothing more than tools. Why me? He asked. Because you are an engineer. And because, Hana pointed at his trembling hands, because you have the sickness worse than anyone else I have seen. That means you have changed more than the others. I think that change might be exactly what we need. Jihan felt something he had not felt in years. Hope. It was small and fragile, but it was there. When do we start? He asked. Hana stood up. Tomorrow night. There will be others. People who are tired of being slaves. People who remember what it means to be human. After she left, Jihan sat in the dark and watched his hand shake. For the first time in 3 years, the trembling did not feel like weakness. It felt like power waiting to be used. Outside his window, the alien guards walked their patrols under the purple sky of a world that was not Earth. But humans had lived on worlds that were not Earth before. They had survived ice ages and plagues and wars. They had reached for the stars when everyone said it was impossible. Maybe it was time to reach again. The next night, Jihan followed Hana through the dark tunnels beneath the mining camp. The maintenance passages were old and forgotten, built when the aliens first set up the colony. Now they were filled with broken pipes and rusted metal, but they were also hidden from the security cameras above. Hana moved through the tunnels like she had walked them 1,000 times. She carried a small light that barely showed the way ahead. Behind them, 3 other humans followed in silence. This is Minho, Hana whispered, pointing to a big man with scarred hands. He used to work with explosives before the invasion. Now he knows every weak point in the alien buildings. Minho nodded at Jihan but did not speak. His eyes were hard and angry. Yunbi works in the communications center, Hana continued, indicating a thin woman with quick, nervous movements. She repairs the alien computers and radios. She knows their systems better than they do. Yunbi smiled at Jihan, but it was a sad smile. I fix their machines so they can talk to their ships, she said quietly. So they can call for more slaves when the old ones die. The last person was Do-hyun, who had been a pilot before the aliens came. He was older than the others, with gray hair and tired eyes. I flew cargo ships between Earth and the Moon, he said. Now I drive mining equipment in circles all day. They reached a wider section of tunnel where someone had set up a small camp. Blankets on the floor, boxes of stolen food, and tools spread across a makeshift table. The walls were covered with drawings and notes, plans of the alien base, maps of the tunnels, pictures of the exo-suits. How long have you been planning this? Jihan asked. 2 years, Hana said. Ever since I realized what the aliens were really doing to us. She pointed to one of the drawings on the wall. It showed the human body, but with strange marks and symbols drawn all over it. The mining work is not just about getting crystals. It is changing us. Look at your hands, Jihan. Look at all of us. Jihan looked around at the group. Now that he was paying attention, he could see it. Minho's scars were not just from accidents. They glowed faintly in the dark. Yunbi's fingers moved too fast when she worked, like they were vibrating. Do-hyun's eyes reflected light like an animal's. The crystals we mine contain energy that does not exist anywhere else in the galaxy, Hana explained. When humans work with them for long enough, we absorb some of that energy. It changes our bodies, makes us stronger, faster, smarter. Then why do the aliens not change too? Jihan asked. Because they are already perfect, Yunbi said bitterly. Their bodies cannot adapt. They were designed by their ancestors to be exactly what they are. No more, no less. But humans can become anything. Hana spread out a detailed map of the alien command center. The prototype exosuit is kept in the central laboratory. It is 3 levels underground behind multiple security barriers. The aliens use it to test new technologies before putting them in their regular suits. How do we get past the security? Jihan asked. Minho smiled for the first time since Jihan had met him. We do not go past it. We go through it. He pointed to several locations on the map. Small explosions here and here will cause power failures. The backup systems will kick in, but they will be focused on the main areas. The laboratory will be temporarily unprotected. And I can shut down the alarm systems from the communication center, Yunbi added. For about 10 minutes. After that, every alien in the base will know something is wrong. 10 minutes is not very long, Do-hyun said. It will have to be enough, Hana replied. Jihan, your job is the most important. You need to get into the laboratory, study the prototype suit, and figure out how it works. Can you do that in 10 minutes? Jihan looked at his trembling hands. 3 years ago, he could have taken apart any machine in half that time. But now, I do not know, he said honestly. I think you can do more than you realize, Hana said. The changes in your body are not just making you sick. They are making you better. Your hands shake because they are processing information faster than they used to. Your mind works differently now. She pulled out a small piece of alien technology, a broken communication device that Yunbi had stolen from the repair shop. Try to fix this, Hana said. Jihan took the device and immediately felt something strange. His fingers stopped shaking. Instead, they began to move in tiny, precise movements across the alien circuitry. He could see patterns in the design that he had never noticed before. Connections that made sense in ways they never had. Without thinking, he began to rearrange the components. His hands moved faster than they ever had, guided by an understanding that came from somewhere deep inside him. In less than a minute, the device was working again. How did you do that? Hyunbi asked, staring at the fixed communicator. I do not know, Jihan admitted. It just made sense. Like I could see how it was supposed to work. Hana nodded. That is what I was hoping for. The aliens think they understand human evolution, but they only see the surface. They see the shaking, the changes in our bodies, and they think we are getting weaker. They do not realize we are getting better. She stood up and looked at each of them. Tomorrow night we make our move. Minho will set the explosions. Eunbi will handle the computers. Do-hyun will be our lookout and our escape route. And Jihan will get us the key to our freedom. What about you? Jihan asked. Hana smiled, and this time it was not sad. It was fierce. I will be making sure the aliens remember that humans do not make good slaves. They spent the rest of the night going over the plan. Every detail was checked and double-checked. Escape routes were memorized. Backup plans were made for the backup plans. As dawn approached and they prepared to return to their regular jobs, Jihan felt something he had not experienced since the invasion. Purpose. For 3 years, he had been nothing but a tool in the alien minds. Tomorrow night he would be an engineer again. Are you scared? Hyunbi asked as they prepared to leave the tunnel. Yes, Jihan said, but I am also excited. For the first time in years, I'm going to build something instead of just digging holes. Minho clapped him on the shoulder. Good, fear keeps you alive. Excitement keeps you human. They returned to the surface one by one, slipping back into their normal routines. To the alien guards, they were just tired miners heading to another day of work. But underneath their gray uniforms and behind their tired faces, something new was growing. The aliens had tried to break humanity by forcing them to work in impossible conditions. Instead, they had created something they did not expect. They had created humans who were more than human. And tomorrow night, those humans were going to remind the galaxy what that meant. The alien command center stood like a black tower against the purple sky. Its walls were smooth metal that reflected no light, and energy barriers hummed around its base. Inside, the most advanced technology in the galaxy waited behind layers of security that no human was supposed to breach. Jihan crouched in the shadows with the others, watching the alien guards patrol the perimeter. His hands were shaking worse than ever, but now he understood why. Energy was building up inside him, ready to be released. Remember, Hana whispered, we have 10 minutes once Minho starts the explosions. Maybe less if they figure out what is happening. Minho nodded and disappeared into the darkness. He moved like a ghost, carrying his homemade bombs toward the power stations on the far side of the base. Hyunbi slipped away in the other direction, heading for the communication center where she would shut down the alarm systems. Do-hyun took his position at the main entrance, ready to watch for trouble. That left Jihan and Hana to break into the most secure building on the planet. Are you ready? Hana asked. Jihan looked at his trembling hands one more time. 3 years of mining had changed him in ways he was only beginning to understand. Tonight he would find out what those changes really meant. I am ready, he said. The first explosion lit up the night sky, then the second. Power grids across the base flickered and went dark. Emergency lights came on, casting red shadows everywhere. In the distance, alien voices shouted orders in their clicking language. Now. Hana said. They ran toward the command center as the backup power systems struggled to come online. The main door was sealed with electronic locks, but Jihan's new understanding of alien technology made the security seem simple. His shaking fingers danced across the control panel, finding patterns that the original designers had never intended. The door opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the building was dark except for the red emergency lighting. Hana led the way down corridors lined with alien technology. Computers hummed quietly, their screens showing star maps and mining reports. Security cameras tracked their movement, but Unbi had disabled the recording systems. They reached the elevator that would take them to the underground laboratory. More alien locks, more security systems, but Jihan's hands seemed to know exactly what to do. He could feel the electronic pathways in the alien circuits like they were part of his own nervous system. "How are you doing that?" Hana asked as they descended. "I do not know," Jihan admitted. "It is like I can see inside the machines. Like they are talking to me." The elevator stopped at the third basement level. The doors opened to reveal a long hallway with one door at the end. That door was different from the others. It glowed with its own light and energy crackled around its edges. "The laboratory," Hana said. They walked down the hallway, their footsteps echoing in the silence. The door was sealed with the most advanced locks Jihan had ever seen. Not just electronic, but biological and quantum systems working together. It should have been impossible for any human to understand, let alone bypass. But Jihan's hands were no longer just human hands. He placed his palms against the door and felt the energy flow through him. The trembling in his fingers created vibrations that matched the quantum frequencies in the lock. His changed nervous system processed information at speeds that the lock's designers had never considered. The door opened. Inside the laboratory, blue light filled a circular chamber. In the center, suspended in an energy field, hung the most beautiful piece of technology Jihan had ever seen. The prototype exosuit was not bulky and gray like the mining equipment. It was sleek and silver, designed to enhance rather than just protect. "Lift my tightest exosuit," Hana ordered, pointing to her own battle-worn armor. Jihan understood immediately. She wanted to transfer the modified components from her old suit to the prototype. Parts that she and the Resistance had improved over months of secret work. Parts that would make the prototype into something the aliens never intended. His hands obeyed without hesitation, moving with precision he had never possessed before. The trembling was gone now, replaced by movements so fast and accurate they seemed like magic. He could see the energy flows in both suits, understand how they connected and interacted. As he worked, something remarkable happened. The prototype suit began to respond to his touch in ways that surprised even him. Hidden systems activated, secret functions came online. The aliens had built capabilities into the suit that even they did not fully understand. "Jihan," Hana said quietly, "look at your hands." He looked down and gasped. His fingers were glowing with the same blue light as the prototype suit. The energy from years of mining was flowing out of him and into the alien technology, changing it, improving it. The aliens never understood, Hana said with wonder in her voice. They thought the mining was just about getting crystals, but it was really about us, about what we would become. Alarms began to sound throughout the building. Their 10 minutes were up. "Put on the suit," Jihan said urgently. Hana stepped forward and began to don the modified prototype. As each piece connected to her body, she changed. Her movements became faster. Her eyes glowed with inner light. The suit was not just protecting her, it was making her into something more than human. The laboratory door exploded inward. Alien soldiers poured into the chamber, their weapons charging with deadly energy. They had found the intruders, but they were too late. Hana moved like lightning. The prototype suit amplified her enhanced human abilities beyond anything the aliens had ever seen. She flowed between their energy blasts like water, struck like thunder, and stood like an immovable mountain when their weapons tried to knock her down. The aliens had superior technology and superior numbers, but they did not have what Hana had. They did not have the fire that burned inside every human who refused to give up. They did not have the rage of a species that had been enslaved and told they were weak. Most importantly, they did not have the power that came from evolution under pressure. Jihan watched in amazement as Hana fought her way through the alien soldiers. The suit made her strong, but the strength came from within. 3 years of mining had changed her body, but 30 years of oppression had changed her spirit. "Come on," she shouted, clearing a path to the door. Time to go! They ran through the corridors as more alarms sounded. Behind them, alien reinforcements poured into the building. Ahead of them, Do-Yun waited with an escape route through the maintenance tunnels. As they reached the surface, Jihan looked back at the command center. Lights blazed in every window as the aliens tried to understand what had happened. How had humans broken their most secure facility? How had they bypassed locks that should have been impossible to crack? They would figure it out eventually. They would realize that their weak human slaves had been evolving all along. But by then it would be too late. The Resistance had the prototype suit. More importantly, they had proof that humans could become something the aliens had never imagined. Something stronger, something better, something free. The stolen prototype suit lay in pieces across the hidden workshop table. For 3 days, Jihan had been studying every component, every circuit, every energy flow. His enhanced understanding revealed secrets that amazed even him. The aliens are not just mining crystals, he told the gathered Resistance members. They are mining us. Around the table sat not just Hana, Minho, Yunbi, and Do-Yun, but 20 other humans who had joined them since the raid on the command center. Word of their success had spread through the mining camps like wildfire. Hope was contagious. Jihan held up a small crystal taken from the suit's power core. These energy crystals do not just power their technology. They change whoever touches them. The aliens know this. They have been using human miners as test subjects for 30 years. Test subjects for what? Asked Kyung-soo, a young miner whose eyes now glowed faintly in the dark. Evolution, Hana answered. They are trying to create the perfect worker. Someone who can survive in any environment, adapt to any challenge, never rebel against their masters. But they made a mistake, Jihan continued. They thought they could control evolution. They thought they could make us into whatever they wanted. But evolution does not work that way. It makes you into what you need to become to survive. He gestured to his own hands, which no longer trembled but moved with inhuman precision. We needed to become stronger, so we did. We needed to become smarter, so we did. We needed to become free, so we will. Sunwoo, the alien overseer responsible for the mining operations, had been searching for them for days. His soldiers patrolled the tunnels and questioned every human they found. But the Resistance had advantages that no alien could understand. They knew every hidden passage in the underground maintenance systems. They could feel each other's presence through the energy that connected all changed humans. Most importantly, they fought with the desperation of a species that had nothing left to lose. We have analyzed the prototype suit completely, Unbi reported. I can build communication devices that will connect all the human settlements on this world. Minho can create weapons that use the same energy systems. Do-Yun can modify the mining vehicles into something much more dangerous. And I can build more suits, Jihan added. Not exact copies, but suits designed specifically for changed humans. Suits that work with our evolution instead of against it. Over the next week, the hidden workshop became a factory. Humans who had spent years as slaves now worked with purpose and passion. They built communication networks from stolen alien technology. They turned mining equipment into weapons and vehicles. Most importantly, they built hope. The new exosuits were different from anything the aliens had ever created. Where the alien suits were designed to protect unchanged beings from hostile environments, the human suits were designed to enhance beings who had already adapted. They were lighter, faster, and more powerful because they worked with human evolution instead of replacing it. When Minho put on the first completed suit, he moved like liquid fire. His enhanced strength, amplified by the suit's power systems, let him lift mining equipment that normally required mechanical assistance. His scarred hands, now glowing with internal energy, could shape metal like clay. How do you feel? Hana asked. Minho smiled. Like myself, but more so. The Resistance grew every day. Humans from across the mining settlements heard about the successful raid and began to believe that freedom was possible. They brought skills and knowledge that made the rebellion stronger. Engineers like Jihan, soldiers like Hana, workers like Minho and Unbi and Do-Hyun. But they also brought something more important. They brought the fire that burns in every human heart, the refusal to accept defeat, the determination to be more than what others expect. The aliens noticed the changes. Mining productivity dropped as more humans disappeared into the tunnel systems. Equipment went missing. Communication networks suffered mysterious failures. Sunwoo increased security, but his soldiers were designed to fight alien enemies with alien tactics. They were not prepared for human ingenuity. One night, as Jihan worked on the latest batch of suits, Hana came to him with troubling news. "Sunwoo is planning something," she said. "Our people in the communication center intercepted alien messages. Ships are coming from other worlds, not just soldiers but scientists and commanders. What do they want?" "Us," Hana said grimly. "They finally understand what we have become. They want to study us, figure out how to control the evolution process. They want to create armies of changed humans who will serve them without question." Jihan set down his tools and looked at her. "Then we need to make sure they cannot have us." "What are you thinking?" "I am thinking that 30 years ago humans reached for the stars because we refused to stay on one world. Maybe it is time to reach again." The next morning, Sunwoo himself came to the mining settlements. He was taller than most aliens, with skin like polished silver and eyes that seemed to see everything. He spoke to the assembled humans in their own language, which he had learned perfectly. "I know some of you have been causing trouble," he said in a voice like grinding metal. "I know some of you think you can fight us. You are wrong. But I am not angry. I am impressed." He walked among the humans, studying their faces, their hands, their eyes. "You have become something new. Something we did not expect. This is good. This is what we wanted." "You wanted slaves," someone called out from the crowd. Sunwoo turned toward the voice. "No, we wanted partners. The galaxy is full of enemies who seek to destroy us. We need allies who can help us fight them. Allies who can adapt to any battlefield, survive any challenge, never give up." He gestured to the humans around him. "You have become those allies. Your evolution is almost complete. Soon you will join our fleets and help us conquer the stars. Together we will be unstoppable." But hidden in the maintenance tunnels below, Jihan and the Resistance heard every word through their stolen communication devices. And they knew that Sunwoo was both right and wrong. Humans had become something new, something powerful, something that could help conquer the stars. But they would not be doing it as anyone's slaves or partners. They would be doing it as free beings who chose their own destiny. The galaxy was about to learn what that meant. The alien fleet arrived at dawn, filling the purple sky with silver ships, massive vessels that could carry thousands of soldiers, scientists, and weapons. They had come to claim their new army of evolved humans and take them to fight wars across the galaxy. They found something else instead. Jihan stood on the surface of the mining colony, wearing the most advanced exosuit any human had ever created. Around him, hundreds of other humans wore their own suits, each one unique, each one designed to work with their individual evolution. They were no longer the gray-clad slaves who had dug in the mines for 30 years. They were something new. Sunwoo emerged from the lead ship with an escort of alien soldiers. His silver skin gleamed in the strange sunlight, and his black eyes surveyed the assembled humans with satisfaction. "You see," he said to his officers in the clicking alien language, "they have prepared themselves for service. Soon they will join our fleets and help us conquer our enemies." But when he switched to human speech and addressed the crowd, his tone was different. "My friends, the time has come for you to fulfill your destiny. Your evolution is complete. You have become the perfect warriors we always knew you could be." Hana stepped forward. In her modified prototype suit, she looked like a goddess of war. Energy crackled around her and her eyes burned with inner fire. "You are right about one thing," she said. "Our evolution is complete. But you are wrong about what we have become." Sunwoo tilted his head, confused. "You have become our allies. Our partners in conquest." "No," Hana said. "We have become free." The word echoed across the settlement like thunder. Free. A concept the aliens understood intellectually but had never truly grasped. To them, everything existed in hierarchies. Masters and servants. Conquerors and conquered. Evolved and primitive. They had never encountered beings who refused to fit into any hierarchy at all. The battle began when Sunwoo raised his hand to signal his soldiers to take control of the humans. It ended 30 minutes later when the last alien ship fled into space, carrying news that would shake the Dominion to its core. Humans fought like nothing the aliens had ever seen. Not with the discipline of trained soldiers or the fury of wild beasts, but with something else entirely. They fought with creativity, adapting their tactics moment by moment. They fought with determination, refusing to give up no matter what the odds. Most importantly, they fought with joy, celebrating their freedom even in the middle of battle. Jihan's hands moved faster than thought as he turned mining equipment into weapons, communication devices into jamming systems, transport vehicles into attack craft. His evolution had given him the ability to understand any technology instantly, but his humanity gave him the imagination to use it in ways no one else could conceive. Minho became a force of nature, his enhanced strength allowing him to tear through alien armor with his bare hands. But he also used his knowledge of explosives to turn the aliens' own weapons against them, creating chain reactions that disabled entire squads. Yunbi took control of the alien communication networks and used them to coordinate human forces across the planet, but she also sent messages to other human settlements on other worlds, spreading the news that freedom was possible. Do-hyun piloted captured alien fighters with skill that amazed even himself. His enhanced reflexes let him dodge energy blasts that should have been impossible to avoid. But more than that, he flew with a style that confused alien pilots who had trained for centuries in rigid formations. The aliens had superior numbers and superior technology, but humans had something they could not match. Humans had the ability to become whatever they needed to become. As the last alien ships retreated, Sunwoo sent a final message to the human settlement. His voice was different now, not commanding but almost respectful. "We chose your species because you were adaptable," he said. "We never realized that meant you were ungovernable." Hana stood among the wreckage of alien equipment, her suit powered down but her eyes still glowing with inner fire. Around her, humans were already beginning to rebuild, but not as slaves, as free beings choosing their own path. "You tried to make us into weapons," she said, speaking to the empty sky where the alien ships had disappeared. "Instead, you made us into something better. You made us into ourselves, but stronger." In the days that followed, the truth of what had happened spread across the galaxy. Humans were no longer the weak species that had been conquered 30 years ago. They had evolved, adapted, become something that could stand against any force in the universe. Other human settlements on other worlds heard the news and began their own rebellions. The techniques developed by Jihan and his team spread from planet to planet. Modified exosuits, enhanced weapons, communication networks that the aliens could not intercept or control. But more than the technology, what spread was the idea. The simple, powerful concept that no being had the right to enslave another, that freedom was not something to be granted by masters, but something to be claimed by those brave enough to fight for it. Months later, as human ships began to appear in star systems across the galaxy, alien commanders asked their scientists how this had happened. How had a primitive species become so powerful so quickly? The answer was simple, though the aliens struggled to understand it. Humans had not become powerful despite their oppression. They had become powerful because of it. Every challenge had made them stronger. Every attempt to break them had made them more determined. Every effort to control their evolution had pushed them to evolve in directions their oppressors never expected. Jihan stood on the bridge of the first human starship, built from salvaged alien technology and human ingenuity. His hands, once trembling with weakness, now moved with perfect precision as he calculated jump coordinates to free more human settlements. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders. It was also full of species that thought they could rule over others. They were about to learn that humanity had other ideas. Behind him, Hana spoke with other human commanders, planning liberation campaigns that would span dozens of star systems. The prototype suit had been the key that unlocked their evolution, but evolution itself was the key that had unlocked their future. "Where to next?" Do-hyun asked from the pilot's seat. Jihan smiled and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans were still digging in alien mines, still believing they were powerless. It was time to show them otherwise. "Everywhere," he said. "We go everywhere." The fire that had burned in human hearts for millions of years now burned among the stars. And it would not be extinguished again.